Deep in the valleys of Madhya Pradesh lies Berampur, a village governed by an absolute law of survival. For centuries, the locals have known that when the heavy, rhythmic pace of the Nishir Molo echoes through the forest fog, there is only one option: hide and never look directly at them. The arrival of these entities is always preceded by two distinct auditory warnings. First, the crushing weight of their footsteps. Then, a dark, repetitive chant cutting through the silence, a synchronized, guttural repeating of the phrase, "Bam, bam, bosh." Decades ago, a villager named Madan thought he could outrun the lore. Caught in the woods after dark, he heard the chant closing in. He threw himself into the brush, but panic got the better of him. He locked eyes with the coffin bearers through the leaves. The physical toll of that single glance was absolute. A search party found Madan the next morning, slumped against a banyan tree. He was entirely paralyzed, his eyes locked wide open in a state of catatonic horror, unable to process what he had seen. The Nishir Molo act as a dormant supernatural security system. They do not hunt randomly, but if a person breaks the protocol and witnesses them, the result is immediate madness or death. Hundreds of miles away in a modern Delhi laboratory, ancient curses are far from the researchers' minds. Meghna and Ishita are backed against a wall. Their lead supervisor, Professor Jaidev, has given them exactly 72 hours to synthesize a complex, highly volatile biological antidote. Conventional chemical combinations are failing every trial. Desperate for a breakthrough before the deadline, Ishita pulls a radical alternative from her research: a thick text analyzing the chemical truths hidden inside ancient folklore and regional myths. This conceptual diagram breaks down their target, the Mrityunjay Amrit. Legend calls it an immortality elixir, but biology points to a specific ancient tree secreting a bioluminescent liquid during a full moon. The text pinpoints exact geographical coordinates, centering squarely on Berampur's historical borders. But the data alignment triggers a severe psychological reaction in Meghna. For weeks, she has suffered from vivid, recurring nightmares featuring this exact tree weeping green liquid, guarded by a massive predatory bird. Meghna's recurring nightmares have become a biological homing beacon. Her subconscious is tethered to a myth she has never consciously studied. With the deadline closing in, Meghna and Ishita take a 5-hour bus ride and physically cross the threshold into Berampur. The moment their feet touch the dirt of the village square, the sweltering afternoon collapses. A violent storm rips through the streets, kicking up massive clouds of dust and blocking out the sun. At that exact second, deep inside the local temple, the eternal flames of the oil lamps are snuffed out completely. The local priest recognizes the environmental shift immediately as a grim omen. Unaware of the panic they've caused, the researchers approach the village mukhya. Using a university study as a cover story, they secure lodging and successfully recruit his skeptical son, Anuj, to guide them into the local ruins. The ecosystem of Berampur is not passive, from the sudden atmospheric crash to the extinguished temple fires. The environment is actively resisting the presence of outsiders. At midnight, while the storm continues to rage, Anuj leads the two researchers to the towering stone remnants of Raja Surashban's 400-year-old palace. The scientific objective is straightforward: navigate the abandoned courtyard, locate the flora matching the folklore, extract the green liquid, and return to Delhi. But any remaining scientific objectivity shatters once they pry open a jammed window and step inside. In the pitch black, Meghna begins confidently navigating the complex, winding corridors, anticipating turns and dead ends with perfect accuracy. This comparative blueprint shows exactly why she knows the way. Meghna's unexplained mental imagery perfectly aligns with the 400-year-old architectural floor plan of the ruined palace. Every hallway, every archway, every stone matches her dreams. Meghna is navigating these 400-year-old corridors as if she helped build them. Her memories have proven more accurate than any modern map of the site. By crossing deep into the palace's inner sanctum, the trio unknowingly trips an ancient wire. The dormant curse holding Berampur together has violently awakened. Inside the palace, the silence breaks. The distinct crushing sound of heavy military boots echoes down the empty stone hallway. Suddenly, a massive wooden door violently swings open on its own, trapping the three of them in the corridor. Simultaneously, out on the dark edge of the forest, two local villagers named Sampat and Kapta huddle against the escalating wind, trying to finish a game of cards. The wind carries a sound that freezes the blood in their veins. A rhythmic, guttural chant cuts clearly through the howling storm. Bam, bam, bosh. Bam, bam, bosh. Out of the heavy tree line, four towering silhouettes emerge. They step forward in perfect unison, their glowing red eyes locking onto the two villagers, a massive wooden coffin resting perfectly balanced across their shoulders. The arrival of the guardians in the woods perfectly mirrors the intrusion into the palace sanctum. Seeking the life-giving elixir has triggered an immediate response from the agents of death. Standing before the terrified villagers, the guardians halt. Then, in an act never recorded in the village's history, the heavy wooden lid of the coffin slowly slides open. A horrifying, unearthly scream erupts from inside the open box. The sound pierces the heavy storm, physically jolting every resident of Berampur awake in a cold sweat. The researchers arrived with the rigid hypothesis that ancient myths were simply biological facts waiting to be safely extracted. They ignored the folklore's warnings, treating the guardians as fiction. The scientific extraction has failed. By breaking the ancient seal in search of a cure, they have released a 400-year-old plague onto the modern world.